Quotes that will change your life. Quote 1. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Winston Churchill. Quote 2. Believe you can, and you're halfway there. Theodore Roosevelt. Quote 3. Your time is limited. Don't waste it living someone else's life. Steve Jobs. Quote 4. Life is 10% what happens to us and 90% how we react to it. Charles R. Swindoll. Quote 5. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. Steve Jobs. Quote 6. Don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds that you plant. Robert Louis Stevenson. Quote 7. If you want to live a happy life, tie it to a goal, not to people or things. Albert Einstein. Quote 8. The best way to predict your future is to create it. Abraham Lincoln. Quote 9. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Franklin D. Roosevelt. Quote 10. If you want to lift yourself up, lift up someone else. Booker T. Washington. Quote 11. In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. Martin Luther King, Jr. Quote 12. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. Eleanor Roosevelt. Quote 13. 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things that you didn't do than by the ones you did do. Mark Twain. Quote 14. Don't let yesterday take up too much of today. Will Rogers. Quote 15. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Nelson Mandela. Quote 16. Life is what we make it. Always has been, always will be. Grandma Moses. Quote 10. Believe and act as if it were impossible to fail. Charles Kettering. Quote 18. The greatest discovery of all time is that a person can change his future by merely changing his attitude. Oprah Winfrey. Quote 19. It is during our darkest moments that we must focus to see the light. Aristotle, Onassis. Quote 20. A man is not old until regrets take the place of dreams. John Barrymore. Quote 21. Never give up on something that you can't go a day without thinking about. Winston Churchill. Quote 22. Success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. If you love what you are doing, you will be successful. Albert Schweitzer. Quote 23. If you look at what you have in life, you'll always have more. If you look at what you don't have in life, you'll never have enough. Oprah Winfrey. Quote 24. Success is stumbling from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. Winston Churchill. Quote 25. Happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your own actions. Dalai Lama. Quote 26. Do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Quote 27. The best revenge is massive success. Frank Sinatra. Quote 28. The two most important days in your life are the day you are born and the day you find out why. Mark Twain. 29. Success is not how high you have climbed, but how you make a positive difference to the world. Roy T. Bennett. Quote 30. The only limit to our realization of tomorrow will be our doubts of today. Franklin D. Roosevelt. Quote 31. Life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you respond to it. Lou Holtz. Quote 32. Never give up, for that is just the place and time that the tide will turn. Harriet Beecher Stowe. Quote 33. Happiness is not the absence of problems, it's the ability to deal with them. Steve Maraboli. Quote 34. There are no mistakes, only opportunities. Tina Fey. 35. If you want to be happy, set a goal that commands your thoughts, liberates your energy, and inspires your hopes. Andrew Carnegie. Quote 36. I find that the harder I work, the more luck I seem to have. Thomas Jefferson. Quote 37. Opportunity does not knock. It presents itself when you beat down the door. Kyle. 38. It is not in the stars to hold our destiny, but in ourselves. William Shakespeare. Quote 39. The more you know yourself, the more clarity there is. Self-knowledge has no end. Jiddu Krishnamurti. Quote 40. Do not let what you cannot do interfere with what you can do. John Wooden. Quote 41. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. Edmund Burke. Quote 42. Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. Seneca. 43. It does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop. Confucius. Quote 44. The greatest gift of life is friendship, and I have received it. Hubert H. Humphrey. Quote 45. The more that you read, the more things you will know. The more that you learn, the more places you'll go. Dr. Seuss, quote 46. The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. Socrates, quote 47. What you get by achieving your goals is not as important as what you become by achieving your goals. Zig Ziglar, quote 48. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking. Don't settle. As with all matters of the heart, you'll know when you find it. Steve Jobs. 49. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Nelson Mandela. Quote 50. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. Mahatma Gandhi. Thank you. Visit again. Please like, share, and subscribe us.